In 1980, the Hebrew University in Israel confirmed Bennett's identification of cannabis as hemp, and the respected anthropologist Weston Lambar in 1980 referred to the biblical references in an essay on cannabis. In that same year, respected British journal New Scientist also ran a story that referred to the Hebrew Old Testament references. A modern counterpart of the word is even listed in Ben Yehuda's Pocket Dictionary and other Hebrew source books. Further, online, the Internet's informative Navigating the Bible, used by countless theological students, even refers to the Exodus 30:23 reference as possibly designating cannabis. In 1995, with the publication of Green Gold, The Tree of Life, Marijuana and Magic in Religion, the biblical references to cannabis were given their most thorough examination up to that time. But unfortunately, this information is still not widely known by most modern-day Jews, Christians, and religious scholars. Further, news of cannabis references is not always accepted with open minds. One rabbi sent the following emotional response to an article I wrote discussing the references to hemp in the Old Testament. Quote, "Incense and smoke are all important parts of what the Jewish people did in the desert as part of serving God. In fact, I'll even agree that perhaps cannabis was one of the constituent ingredients in the incense. But there is no proof whatsoever that people were getting high. Any objective Torah scholar or rabbi who was asked about the total numbers of times getting high is mentioned in the Bible or in the Talmud or Midrash would answer none. Cannabis and incense or blankets maybe, but getting high, remember, the burden of proof is on you to prove that this is in fact what the Bible is saying. Otherwise, it's all conjecture, and let's face it, talk is cheap." End quote. Now that was a rabbi from a famous Jewish institute who I won't name due to the out of respect to our mutual acquaintance, Mike Gittleman, a good friend of mine. But I would like to. But I won't say who he was. We'll just call him Rabbi X. Now one might comment that any believer of Holy Scripture, especially a rabbi or priest, could hardly be considered objective when it comes to discussing their faith. If Moses and the prophets were getting high when they were talking with God, this could challenge the legitimacy of the so-called Holy Scripture. It is my sincere hope that the new book, Sex, Drugs, Violence in the Bible, and this series will give the most clear and concise presentation of the information regarding the use of cannabis as an entheogen in the Old Testament, and will answer any questions on the matter once and for all. As this series shall clearly document, many of the prophets of the Bible were none other than the ancient Middle East counterparts and predecessors of the New World shamans that the Christianized European explorers would later encounter in their travels. Sadly, with the so-called discovery of such shaman-led groups came Christian settlers and missionaries who had more than just frowned upon indigenous people. Whole cultures that employed these entheogenic plant drugs for shamanistic ecstasy or practiced ritual sexuality have been decimated by Bible-preaching Christian missionaries who did away with what they considered the primitive and evil practices of the heathens. In exchange, the missionaries forced these cultures to accept their more civilized religion and true faith, along with its burden of original sin. And we have all seen what that cultural exchange has done for the Aboriginal peoples of the world.
Hey everybody, Marijuana Man here. You can catch me on The Grow Show every Thursday. Comes on air at 4:20. We're smoking buds like these.
So this has been our first episode in the biblical story of hemp. When we come back next week, we're going to take a look at the Garden of Eden myth. I would call this the most powerful myth in all of history. In this myth, we not only have the placement of women in a secondary role to men, our separation from nature, but also the desacralization of knowledge-giving plants. And so we're looking very forward to you people out there giving us your comments on this. Tell us what you think. If you think there's something wrong with what I'm saying or you challenge something that I'm saying, feel free to email us at info@pottv-net, or you can email me personally at freeshiva@hotmail.com, or you can place a review on our review rating there and tell us what you think. So we're looking forward to you taking part in this whole series and getting back to us with lots of comments, because that's the interactive nature of the Internet. And like Indra's web, where there's a jewel situated at each little piece of the web, so like the Internet, we have each of you reaching out and touching each of us, and each of us reaching out and touching each of you. And now is the time, the age of information, the time of revelation, the apocalypse, the big unveiling. So join us next week on the Burning Shiva Hour on PotTV.net. Boom Shiva!
Hi, I'm Renee Berger, and I'm the hostess of The Healing Herb Hour, the medical cannabis show on Pot TV. And Healing Herb Hour combines poetry, music, art, video clips, and photographs with a variety of interesting guests who are involved in the medical cannabis movement. Every month I'll be talking with a few guests who are currently fighting medical cannabis charges in order to raise awareness about their case and find out what we can do to help them. If you're interested in playing a song or two on the show, just mail me a demo tape to Renee Berger, P.O. Box 1557, Gibson, British Columbia, C0N1B0. Thanks a lot. Hope to hear from you soon.